The hardest thing I've ever had to do is to sleep out here on the street. You live in constant fear of falling asleep and what's going to happen while you're asleep. The most important thing you learn on the street is when you find some place to sleep, you never ever tell anybody where your hiding place is, because people will follow you. The sexual predators, there are rapists that come out here and they're looking for a homeless guy to rape, to humiliate him. And what you do is you walk until you're close to your place that you sleep, and then you stop and you stand there for 10 or 15 minutes and you watch and you look around and you watch to see if anybody's followed you, and you have to be real careful. And when you've made sure nobody's followed you, then you come back in here and you can lay down. And after you lay down, you'll lay there for as long as you possibly can before you fall asleep to make sure nobody followed you and can walk up on you. And I have woke up and a guy was on top of me trying to rape me. And he had done just that. I wasn't careful and he had followed me. And it's a real issue for homeless people. The hardest thing that I've had to relearn how to do is I've had to relearn how to sleep, because when I was on the street, I slept with one eye open, and it was like I never could get a complete restful night's sleep. If I slept real hard, it was only for about an hour or two, and I would wake right up as soon as I heard a car. Or, you have to remember, when you lay down at night in a place like this, and it gets real quiet and the traffic slows down, you're going to begin to hear animals like rats. You're going to begin to hear rats over there eating something and milling about, and you'll begin to think about the rats crawling on you while you're asleep, and snakes and cockroaches and spiders, and it's the real deal. Usually the harder core ones, the more independent homeless people, will stay out all winter. By the time they get to the where they're sleeping like this, there's something about the ego and the way a person's mind works, and they'll wrap up in plastic. I've slept places that would blow your mind. I mean, I've wrapped up in plastic. I've slept outside when it was below zero. And I did that all winter, and they do that here. And they'll build campfires. And they'll get a campfire going real good, and you'll be hot on one side and freezing on the other side. And if it gets cold enough, they'll sleep together and keep each other warm. Here's a bed here, and in the wintertime, they'll make an igloo out of this. They'll take a plastic tarp or a canvas tarp and throw it over the top of these bushes and let it snow on top of the tarp until the snow packs it down on the bushes, and then they'll hollow out underneath the bushes and make enough room in there to slide a mattress in, and two of them will be sleeping in a little igloo. And that's a usual thing here. They usually make another one over here in these bushes, and they'll usually set a tent up over here. Sometimes they'll get kerosene heaters and put in their tents, and they'll sleep out here all winter, even when it gets 20 below zero. I think the most lonely thing that I've ever done is to lay my head down out in the woods like this by myself and go to sleep, angry at my family and angry at my parents.